The all-clear is given, and the cyclists set off. Every Sunday, the Paseo de la Reforma, Mexico City's main traffic artery, is closed to motorized traffic. Between 5,000 and 6,000 people are said to gather here each week in what's become a combination of leisure time fun and political demonstration. The Cycle Sunday initiative was launched by Bernardo Baranda in cooperation with Mexico City's authorities. The 39-year-old studied bicycle traffic planning in Europe and has now made it his career to create a truly bicycle-friendly environment and attitude back home. Baranda heads the Mexico City office of the Institute for Transportation and Development Policy and hopes these Cycle Sundays will convince his compatriots of the advantages of switching from 4 wheels to 2.
People are getting over their fear of using bicycles. At the moment, many regard it as a toy, a pleasant childhood memory. They still feel it's too complicated and too physically demanding to ride a bike to get to work or run errands every day. We're trying to help them to relate better to bikes.
Conditions are improving. The city recently established a bike rental system.
You get these cards from Ecobici. The card costs 300 pesos, or about 18 euros, and it's valid for a year. It gives the rider access to bikes at any time, and the first 30 minutes are even free. You hold the card up here. The screen says, "Please wait," and then it tells you which bike to take, in this case, the one parked at number 21.
Baranda can drop the rented bike off at over 80 stations throughout the city. Paris and Barcelona served as role models for Mexico City's eco-bike initiative. It's attracted over 3,000 registered users in its first 2 months. Marta Delgado Peralta, Environment Minister for Mexico City, is proud of Plan Verde, the city government's green plan, an attempt to tackle air pollution and traffic congestion. The plan will cost over 3 billion euros and is the most ambitious traffic planning project of any major city in a developing country.
200,000 cars are added to these city streets every year. These additional vehicles don't just increase the amount of carbon dioxide in the air, they also increase traffic congestion, which means 4 million cars go through the city even more slowly. We have to enact even stricter legislation the more cars there are.
Mexico City's road network has been overwhelmed by commuter traffic for some time. Now traffic planners have decided to restrict cars more radically than ever before. For the past 2 years on the Avenida Insurgentes, the city's principal transport axis, the left lane has been reserved for the Metrobus. At 2-minute intervals, red express buses crisscross the city from north to south and east to west. 2 bus lines are already in operation, and city officials are aiming to have at least 10 by 2012. Traffic planners are already praising the concept as beneficial to the environment, and the authorities agree.
15% of our passengers own a car. They tell us that they're leaving their cars at home now. The benefit is twofold. There are no emissions from these cars and 70,000 fewer cars on the streets, thanks to the Metrobus.
Bus lines are cheaper to get up and running than subway lines, which is why they're popular in developing countries. But Mexico City is growing far too quickly for construction of new transport facilities to keep up. For now, these passengers still transfer to environmentally unfriendly vans at the end of the line. It's not the only challenge facing city planners. Despite constant traffic jams and insufficient parking, driving a car is no easy habit to break for car owners like Alejandro Salvidar. His reasoning?
Las personas les gusta mucho manejar y tener su auto. Entonces eso es un gran problema.
People like to have cars and to drive them. That's a big problem. Besides that, the buses and trains are completely packed at rush hour. The number of passengers is enormous.
Which is why we're only allowed to film Mexico City's subway outside of rush hour. Still, the city is trying to alleviate the consequences of overcrowding. By installing surveillance cameras on train platforms, for instance, and designating separate boarding areas for women and children. Authorities are also linking up the various kinds of public transport. Bernardo Baranda now takes his bike onto the Metrobus, and it works.
The whole world is working towards sustainability. Transport planning must include cyclists as well as good public transportation. That will get people out of their cars. I think we're headed in the right direction.
This traffic light has become redundant. A few days ago, this street was turned into a pedestrian zone, and people here are still adjusting to their new car-free area. It seems that many can already sense a changing climate in their city. For Mexico City, the way forward is clear.